Yes, Els, I know, listen, I know it's going to be really weird. You're only gone a few days, so just have a good time. Don't worry. It's going to be very quiet here, lonely. Have a good time, and I'll see you when you're back. Alright? Alright, love you too. Alright, bye-bye. Okay, we're gonna bang out all of this backlog. Let's go!
1 minute later.
I still got some errands to run.
That's fine.
What would you like to do?
Maybe get our portrait tub for starters.
Portrait?
There's a fella in town that takes photographs.
You want
We had the PlayStation State of Play recently, and I know a lot of people weren't too excited for the future of PlayStation. That is why I decided to do this sort of video. Some of you may agree and disagree, but that's what it's all about. It's YouTube. In number 20 we have Spider-Man 2, and just to let you know, these are in no particular order. Even though you guys know how I feel about Spider-Man 2, although I loved the gameplay and the story was decent, I do believe the first game with Spider-Man 1 was just unreal. I just feel like it is a much more superior story, much more immersive, because there's not much of you know what going on in the story.
You never met a strong female ass character, have you?
But with Spider-Man 2, it makes all of the improvements, the gameplay. There are very subtle changes, but more so the traversal, and it is a much bigger open world. A lot of people may agree with me in terms of the story, but I do think it's a must play just because of how good Spider-Man is. In terms of where they go with the story into Spider-Man 3, I'm not too sure just because of how it ends, but I am looking forward to seeing some DLC. Bit disappointed that we didn't get that in the showcase. I mean, State of Play. Number 19, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart was one of the very few games that actually utilized the DualSense. With the second game, there is a massive jump in quality. Thinking about it now, I really miss these sort of games, these creative, colorful games. It makes me want more games like this. There are so many different guns and weapons to unlock throughout the game. The depth in the graphics is stunning. I was so impressed with how you would jump into different rifts and instantly you're in a totally different area. And of course, the skates you get. Oh my god, the feel with pressing these back buttons. You also get that mini arena where you can fight off different enemies with different weapons with what's her name, the other character. That was so addictive, and the story is just some light-hearted fun. It's a really freaking good game. It's been so long. I hope Insomniac do make a sequel, unless they bring out Spider-Man 3 Haley Edition. In number 18, Grand Theft Auto, the Definitive Edition. Oh my gosh, we are currently playing San Andreas. And wow. This is wow. Despite how it looks, even though they look hilarious with their head shape, these games are better than most modern games. These games were so ahead of its time, and you get 3 massive games to play. Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, and San Andreas. It still amazes me how the NPCs are walking around, the world is alive, and I'm just driving over everyone. Oh no! Get out of the car! Oh, for flip's sake. In preparation for Grand Theft Auto 6, if I'm still alive by then, we are working on playing through all of these games. In number 17, Banishers Ghosts of New Eden. There's been no talk about this game. You will really enjoy it if you like the sort of Plague Tale vibe. That God of War feel to it, the absolutely amazing graphics to the game is very impressive, and the frame rate is so smooth, and the story is really good. You and your wife are basically ghost hunters, and you are investigating a small town named Eden that has been haunted. You go to find your friend, but you realize he's died. You can communicate with the dead before you move them onto the afterlife. Your wife dies, and it's up to you whether to try and bring her back by killing as many innocent people as possible to take their essence. And within these side missions, you have a very difficult choice to make. But because you've kind of promised your wife one thing, you then have to actually follow through with it. And I found this so hard. And I got to the ending. There's 3 possible endings, and I got the one that I didn't want. I basically want to play the game again so I can get the ending I wanted. It's all based off your choice. In number 16, the only live service game that I actually love. Helldivers 2. And I actually spent a bit more money because I wanted to support the developers.
Who are you?
You don't see that from me. Helldivers 2 is so freaking good, especially in a team with your mates. This brings back the Call of Duty feel. What else is so good about the game is that it does not feel like I've ever missing out when I've taken a break. Just because, yes, there are new weapons and armor sets that come out, but I don't feel like this is a pay to win, and I don't feel like I'm missing so much, so I can go back to it anytime. When I do become a full-time YouTuber, I really want to dedicate one day a week to playing like a multiplayer game. I really need to. That would be so good. Oh, life would be so good. Well, you know, you can always dream. In number 15, I really do hope there is a third game to the Plague Tale series. This game feels like The Last of Us. The story is unbelievable. I never thought I would actually like this as much as I did. The first game is more of a survival game because you are very limited with the attacks, which makes it even more nerve-wracking. You have to use rocks to lure enemies and sneak past them, and the last thing you ever want to do is get into one-to-one combat. You have your slingshot, and seeing Amicia and her brother Hugo having to run from the French Inquisition is so moving, especially when she has to start killing people. Because this is based in 1348, I thought this would be a more grounded sort of game, but believe you and me, it becomes a story about supernatural abilities, and the sequel is everything you want in a sequel. The upgraded graphics, the 60 FPS, which you finally got in the end.
Someone who played it day one like myself had to play at 30 FPS.
But the improved combat from Amicia, she gets new weapons and abilities. In number 14, straight up, I didn't think I would like Final Fantasy VII Remake. It just didn't look like a game for me. I didn't like the graphics, the combat. I thought, nah, I was so wrong. And now my phone screensaver is Cloud, and I changed it from me and Els. I was hoping to Platinum 7 Remake, but at the minute, trying to juggle work, YouTube, training, buying a flipping house, I'm finding it very hard to go back and Platinum some of these games. All of the characters are just amazing. Cloud is such a badass soldier who's changed by the end of the game. Non-emotional at the very start, hired by Barrett and Avalanche, because they are trying to take down Shinra, the massive organization who is harvesting off the planet's life force, and they believe this will lead to the end of the world. Cloud also has flashbacks of Sephiroth, a soldier he believes he killed in the past, but seems like he can distort reality. The combat is the best I have played. Final Fantasy XVI, this story was unreal. This is one of the most detailed in terms of story. There are a lot of cutscenes, don't get me wrong, but it sets up the story. You follow Clive, whose English voice actor, by the way, is absolutely top. And you follow his journey over 18 years where the Blight is slowly taking over the land of Valisthea. It's basically turning the world into wastelands. You have Dominants, which are humans with godlike powers which can transform into these gods. You have magic users called Bearers, which are basically light slaves who the rich control and make them use their abilities. When they use their powers too much, they basically end up dying.
That's all she was to you. A plaything. Do you really not care that she's dead?
When you get to the end of the game, you will be amazed at the twists and turns. I just remember thinking about it for days, looking it up on Google. Now in number 12, when I first looked at this game, when you look at it, I was like, nah, this doesn't really appeal to me either. You're not really doing much. How wrong was I about this game? The Walking Dead Telltale series. The Walking Dead is one of the deepest stories. I've only played season 1. Even for a zombie apocalypse, you might think it's quite overdone. The amount of choice you have in the game is mind-boggling. Like, the choices you make will directly affect the whole story. The characters you meet, you get to pick and choose who you save. You get a totally different story because some of those characters would have been there. Does that make sense? It's like you could play this game like 10 times and you would get a different journey. You'd get to where you're going to get to, but how you get there is totally differently. With the modern day games we've been getting the last few years, in terms of storytelling, they have definitely dropped. Especially in movies. This is why I appreciate these sort of games, because the creators of them are just so talented. At some point, I want to complete all of the seasons in The Walking Dead, and then I want to move over to Batman, because wow, I've been looking at some gameplay of that, and I'm like, yes, please. Why wouldn't I want this? Astro's Playroom is a must play. Recently, we got the best news, which saved that damn showcase. State of Play. Astrobot is coming this year, and I cannot wait to play this game. This is a day one purchase for me. A subscriber actually commented on that and said it feels like Astrobot is becoming what PS1 was with Crash Bandicoot. I'm so glad Team Asobi have been given the freedom to do what they want. This looks absolutely incredible, and I feel like this is the only game that really utilized the DualSense. It's an easy platinum as well for Astro's Playroom, and it will set you up nicely for Astrobot. In number 10, Cyberpunk 2077. I replayed through the whole game after that latest update. It's actually even better when I'm playing it on my PS Portal. With Phantom Liberty, that DLC or expansion is probably the best DLC. There's so much more to do in the game now. The side quests and the mini jobs in the game. I love like picking up cars, delivering them within the time frame and earning more money, buying multiple apartments. The customization is so detailed, although it's first person, so I didn't really care about buying clothes and stuff. It has also been confirmed that there will be a sequel to this game, so hopefully it's going to be polished at launch, which I'm sure it will be. But also, I really do hope that they add a third person view. The combat is that good. It's the music that just hypes you up.
This is looking real bad.
In number 9, Elden Ring. I've put in over 100 hours and I still haven't beaten the damn fire giant. I'm going to beat this game because it's the only game we're playing on live streams. I'm playing it and I'm just like, wow, I've forgotten how good this game is. I just feel like I can do it now because you guys are there supporting.
Damn it, damn it.
Elden Ring is one of the best games. Like, oh man, I haven't even scratched the surface of that game. I don't know how long I've got left. If you feel like it's too hard, I really recommend you try it. Just take your time, research on YouTube. There's a big community that can help you. Feel like you're missing out if you decide that you just think it's too hard. From dying and dying and dying, I actually just love learning the moves, learning the timing, and I was getting so good when I was beating that fire giant, but it's just during phase 2 is when I realized like, damn, I don't think I can do this. I need to play this because the DLC is coming very soon, so I need to step up. In number 8, guys, we have Days Gone, and I will keep bringing up this game until flipping Sony listen to me because we want a flipping sequel to this game.
Wait, I heard something. Live service, yes!
This was such an enjoyable platinum to do because of how good the damn bike is. This is the best bike physics ever in a game. It's so therapeutic just driving around. It's a great story following Deacon St. John and focusing on trying to come to grips with his wife's death, and it's all about survival. The shooting is smooth, and come on guys, you get to kill kid zombies.
I found it uncomfortable.
Even after you complete the game, the hordes is where it's all at. At first, I felt so useless trying to beat these flipping hordes, but you get so much better. And when you do, you just get to grips with it, and the amount of hordes that you get to do after the game. Oh my gosh, but then you believe in yourself. It's crazy. God, imagine an online multiplayer. I wonder what Ben's studio have got wrapped up for us. In number 7, we have Grand Theft Auto 5, and these games will live in history. And the different vibe from Grand Theft Auto 4 to 5. 4 is so much more darker. I love just playing as Nico and like going bowling with your cousin, going on dates. Like, it was such a good game. I really wish they did remake that game or remaster it at least. Frame rate, visuals, it deserves it. Grand Theft Auto 5 playing as 3 different characters as well. Obviously, I've never really done the online. We will be playing through these games before we get to Grand Theft Auto 6. Probably will have grandkids by then. In number 6, we have Black Myth Wukong, another one of my most anticipated games of 2024, and it's right around the corner. I know this is going to be polished. Been in development so long, it feels like they are taking their time, and this one is definitely going to be up there. It has been described to be slightly easier than Souls games, which might please a lot of people. It is an open world, which I think is a good thing, and the combat looks so addictive, and the game actually looks current gen. The story follows son Wukong and his journey to learn Taoism and become immortal. You'll be able to travel into so many different animals and objects at will. You will choose between a total of 3 different stances: smash form, pillar form, and thrust form, and he will change the grip on his baton depending on what one you are using. The final game has been described to have a total of 72 abilities, which is crazy. You can have 4 skills equipped at any given time and they will have a cooldown. I cannot wait to see that. the landscapes in this world, and I really think this is just going to be some of the best gameplay in recent years. In number 5, The Last of Us Part 1 will be one of the best story-driven games in history. And if you haven't played this game and you've avoided spoilers, I don't know how you've done it, but this will forever be a game I could play over and over again. Probably the best duo in PlayStation's history, probably comparing it to Kratos and Atreus. It's done so well because they are so relatable. People could relate to losing that special someone and then managing to open up themselves again to trust someone. That is why even after all of these years, we are still talking about this game. Trust me, I know I've done these sort of videos and I've spoken about it many times, but I could keep going on and on about it. I got the platinum for part 1. Will I get part 2? I'm not sure. I think I'm ready soon to give it a go. It's only been 5 years and I feel I can come to terms with actually playing it. What can I say about God of War? I played this for the first time near the end of the PS4 cycle, and I remember not knowing anything about this game. My friend at the time actually bought this game for like £6, and I was like, oh, okay, this looks cool. And I was like, whoa, I was amazed. I was like, I thought this was the first game in this series. Didn't realize the older God of War games was about Kratos and what he was like beforehand. But I still remember how good 2018's God of War is and how amazing Ragnarok was. Some people do say that it was kind of overhyped. I don't think it was, because I thought the story was just so flipping good. Seeing Thor in action, seeing Asgard, seeing Odin. Visually, it's a beautiful flipping game. I love the combat. The only thing I would say is the bits that you played as Atreus, wasn't too keen on. I hope they don't dive into more Atreus, because I don't think many people would like that. I don't know what you guys think, but I want to play as Kratos. And supposedly there's going to be a game with him in Egypt. That would be amazing. I really freaking hope so. Will it happen? You just never know. Nothing was the same after playing that game. What the hell just happened? Who the hell just left this damn hammer and it came through the window?
Hello there.
Oh, that's it. How the hell were you worthy to pick up that? The only thing you're worthy of is doing that damn flipping scene with you-know-what. That's the only thing you're worthy of, is traumatizing people.
What are you fucking? I was a goddamn sexy.
We broke up.
That's a shame. Why?
He didn't make me feel like a woman anymore. What are you laughing at?
I'm not saying nothing.
Nothing. Me? Just hanging around.
Number 3, Ghost of Tsushima. One of the best freaking games. There is going to be a Ghost of Tsushima 2. That is 100% kind of confirmed. Playing Rise of the Ronin, it made me want to play Ghost of Tsushima. And I do, eventually, when I get some more free time. I just can't describe how good it was. This is one of those special games, a true samurai game. One of the best characters with Jin Sakai, who finds conflict between doing everything he came to save his uncle and his people, but also turning his back on the very thing that made him who he is today. The combat feels like the old Assassin's Creed games, which for me was the best. There isn't much variety because of how beautiful and simple it is. Sucker Punch have created a masterpiece. I love the fact that the side quests do not feel like side quests. They're basically main missions, but the side characters have so much depth into them. I didn't think there would be that much depth. Played this game like 3 times and I need to do it again. See, I'm hoping in the sequel they add so much more variety in terms of the combat, so much more customization with weapons, swords, outfits. I hope you have like your own base where you could customize that as well. I do think it's going to be an absolute amazing sequel. Kind of want to see those improvements, as well as a more detailed open world. There isn't a lot per se in the open world. I would love for it to be more dense. In number 2, these are in no particular order, by the way. Stellar Blade. I did a recent video on this, and Shift Up have absolutely killed it with this game. Just making a product with a beautiful protagonist that the Western journalism love. For a first console game, wow, I'm trying to platinum this game. It is so smooth, beautiful graphics, and I've experienced 0 bugs. When have we ever said that? And the story is quite deep as well. A lot of people were a bit like meh with the story, but I was engaged throughout. The gameplay is so fun. The incredible massive bosses, which I do regret saying that it was too easy. Like the main bosses throughout the game were like easier than I thought. But the last boss was flipping hard. It is much more generous than Souls games. That's why I think a lot of people will love this game. But man, this was one of the best games of 2024. Now, number one, we have Red Dead 2, a game that my next video will be about. I just can't move on from this game. The thing is, it's a PS4 game, and it's one of the best, if not the best game you'll play on PS5 if you're like me and never played the PS4. I'm playing it right now, just playing the epilogue, and I just can't get over it. This at the moment has to be the best game of the decade. Of all time, probably. Like Arthur Morgan as a character. At the start, I didn't actually feel like I liked him too much, but by the end, I had a complete 360 with him. I could just sit here talking about it for ages. The detail in the world, the gameplay, the realism, the graphics, I stop and stare at the sky and I'm like, how is this even a game? The side characters in the game, I flipping hate Micah and Dutch. I can't stand those two, more so Micah. The realism in these characters, how they change over time. The aura in the camp from the start of the game to near the end of the game is like so different. And it's just these subtle changes that you're like, how is there this much detail? I would be happy to just play this game for the rest of the year. I really hope there's a Red Dead 3. I'll probably be long gone before that comes out. I forgot to put The Witcher 3 in this flipping video. I don't know how. I bought the game twice. The Witcher 3 with that PS5 update this is an amazing flipping game. Geralt, like the world, the combat. This game is so ahead of its time, and with those subtle updates, it's a beautiful game. From CD Projekt Red, which they did an amazing DLC for Cyberpunk. This one as well is so good. I love the story, the aura, the characters, the monsters. I'm really concerned for the sequel of The Witcher. I'm really concerned that they're going to take out the romances. I'm scared that they're going to be taken over by the woke mindset. Will it be Geralt? Will it be a female? Will there be any romance options in the game, which I thought it was so good that they put those in. I'm really concerned for the sequel. I think you should be very aware of what they put out. I want to know what you think about this video and my must-play games on PS5. Even though some of them on PS4. Make sure to drop your thoughts in the comments and let me know. Before we move over to the comment of the day, there are a few games that I didn't mention. I didn't mention Silent Hill 2 Remake, which we got a release date. It's not on this list because you just never know. It could be a complete flop. Dragon's Dogma 2, I didn't put that on the list only because a lot of people would be put off with the game just because of how long it is to travel between areas, maybe the combat, more so because of the graphics and the frame rate. I didn't mention Baldur's Gate 3 only because I didn't like the game, and I know a lot of people who don't like that over-the-top sort of dice roll sort of gameplay won't like it. Assassin's Creed Shadows, because we don't really know how that's gonna turn out. Let's take a look at the comment of the day from my previous video, PlayStation Days of Play deals. We were talking about the latest gaming news, which I'm gonna probably do every Saturday. Shout out to Dynasty Warrior. Yeah, I think doing a weekly video just talking about what you've been playing or gaming news about future releases and trailers and stuff is a great idea. And I agree about the showcase. I'm so hyped for Dynasty Warrior Origins, Astro Bot, and Silent Hill 2. Thanks a lot for the feedback on that video, and a lot of people did give me good feedback on the gaming news. So what the plan is every Saturday I'm looking to talk about the latest gaming news, whatever it may be, and it helps me get a smaller, easily editable video out so I can help make this my damn full-time job, which we're gonna do. But anyways, goodbye.